Hey, this is Keena B, and welcome to Say Anything. Say anything.
Why can't you just say anything?
I'm gonna say anything.
People just say anything.
I swear, people just say anything.
Welcome to Say Anything with Keena B. Hello, and welcome to Say Anything with Keena B. I am Keena B. Thank you so much for joining me. And I hope that whatever day you are listening to this, you are having a wonderful day. Let's get into it. Am I the only one? You tell me in the comments. Do you feel like you're completely behind on what's going on? Like, I feel like I'm not getting information as fast as it's coming out. And I mean in every aspect, not just the news, but just regular everyday things that are going on in life with individuals, with music, with movies. I'm not hearing about them or as fast as I used to when I was younger. And I don't know if it is because I'm getting older and so I'm just tuned out of a lot of it. I don't know if it's because I'm just checked out when it comes to taking part in what's going on in society. I mean, I used to be up on movies, and there are movies I still haven't seen that are like 10 years old. Probably for the last 10 years, I've kind of just checked out on things. And I keep meaning to see certain movies and just never getting to it. There's music that I'm just finding out about that's 5 years old that I'm starting to like now. I don't know what was going on with me 5 years ago, but and apparently there was popular music. But even now, like, I'm finding music out that's like a year or two old, and I'm like, oh, that's a nice song. But come to find out, it had been on TikTok or Instagram. It was a very popular thing for a long time before I even ever found out about it. I'm just not very present with society. Even the news, I'm like 2-3 weeks behind. And that's probably on purpose, because I did say I wasn't going to be paying attention to the news cycle as much this year, beyond just trying to be informed, being an informed person. But it just seems like even if you check out on society and what's going on these days, it flies by. Like, you walk in and it's the door, you walk into your home, it's 2025, you walk out, it's 2035. That's how it feels. I feel like if I go home and I wake up the next day, that it's going to be 10 years later and I've missed the last 10 years and be like, what happened? What happened? Was I in a coma? That's how fast things tend to be happening. And that could also just be because I'm busy in other ways, and so I'm not paying attention to things. If I'm not working, then I'm probably streaming the British Baking Championships on Netflix. I don't know why I have fallen in love with that show. It is so interesting to watch. I just love the fact that it's regular people, and you're learning a little bit. I'm learning a little bit about different baking styles, but I kind of like the fact that it's just really regular people, and they stay regular people even after the show. Like, they're not there to get famous. They really just love baking. They just really love baking. I think so far I only recognize 2 or 3 of former contestants that actually turned into hosts themselves, or parlayed into something else. But for the most part, it seems like every single one of them just go on and continue their life. They just really love to bake. And that is just so nice to see. A reality show where people are not trying to pivot it into something else. Because I think the shows that are based in the US are They may have started out being like people just wanting to be regular on TV. Like, remember MTV's Real House? No, Real World. The original reality show. They were just regular people, regular teenagers, regular college students. They weren't trying to parlay it into something else. Um, but now it's like all of the new shows, all of the new reality shows, particularly the last 15 years, they have definitely been trying to parlay it. Everybody who goes on there, you could tell that there's another angle. They're trying to up a business or, become actors. They're usually always actors, like personality slash actors. And I guess that's their way of getting into another industry. Are we really watching reality? Like, are we watching reality, or are we watching people fake it for entertainment? Anyway, I say all this to say that I'm behind on what's going on in society, and that includes the news right now. So today's podcast is going to be about catching up on what I have been missing out on the last couple of months.
Okay, I don't know whether to start with the heavy things or the light things. How about I just go back and forth? I have made some notes. Life comes at you fast. It really can come at you fast. One day, you're sitting in your office and you're working and you're minding your business. And then the next day, you're at a Coldplay concert with your mistress. And suddenly you're on a Jumbotron. And your life gets blown up in your face because the lead singer calls you out. Like he knows your deepest, darkest secrets. That is some nasty karma. That's some nasty work right there. And that's exactly what happened to Andy Byron, the CEO of Astronomer, yes, which is a data company, worth about $1.4 billion, the company itself, the evaluation of the company. And as of taping this, he has had to resign from his position, rightfully so, because the person he was messing around with, he wasn't just messing around with somebody, he was messing around with a specific somebody, which is a head of the HR of the company. I think they have it down as chief people officer, which is, it just opens it up to jokes, right? Every joke that I could think of, I'm sure you've already thought of. So, although it's not fun to poke. It's not, part of me is very compassionate. And I always think about the family of people when things are done that are embarrassing, because the embarrassment is not just on them. They implode their life, and there's fallback on their spouses because both of these individuals were married to other people. There's fallback on their children. He has 2 sons. I can only think, and they're of the digital age sons too. So they grew up in the digital era. I bet that none of them are looking at TikTok right now. Like none of them are looking at their Instagram and TikTok or whatever social media platforms that they are on, because their parents are the subject of a viral joke. They have become the butt of the joke. And then there's this circulation of a statement by the former CEO saying, that he doesn't think that their life should have been on display on a Jumbotron in a public space. Sir, what? Maybe you shouldn't cheat. How about that? How about take responsibility for your own actions? If you didn't cheat, you wouldn't get caught cheating on a Jumbotron. And then to go to a Coldplay concert, who is world renowned. They're known all over the place. I don't know an ethnicity that does not know Coldplay. Everybody knows Coldplay. I have Coldplay on my iTunes. It's downloaded on my phone. So the fact that he's like, oh, we went to a public arena and were blown up, sitting in a VIP section at that. I mean, you literally paid to have your life implode. Turns out that the chief people officer, head of HR, I believe her name is Kristen, she was only hired like 9 months ago. So that leads to a lot of questions. And then also along with that, she had just recently purchased a house with her husband, who is also a CEO of another company, which I cannot think of the name of that company. And really it doesn't matter, because he is well, in this particular circumstances, without knowing all of the context, he is a victim here, and so would Andy Byron's wife be the victim here. If we just take the circumstance as it is and see that two people were having an affair, and just as it is, and that they were working together, they're the ones at fault, without knowing anything else, without knowing the status of their marriages, if people were separated, without knowing anything else. They are not the Andy and Kristen are not the victims in this scenario, And I guess I need to say allegedly, even though, what are we alleging that hasn't already been said? I mean, literally, Coldplay said the lead singer, Chris Martin, was like, either they are having an affair or they're really shy. I mean, he just absolutely knew what was happening and said it in front of a mat. And he didn't say allegedly. There was no alleged in his statement. And they were having an affair, So, the moral of the story is, don't cheat, but if you lack the moral fiber, then feel like you must cheat, don't cheat at a Coldplay concert. Or you'll get Chris Martin, or you'll get Coldplayed. Immigration enforcement, also known as ICE, is ramping up its raid efforts after the Supreme Court gave them basically the go-ahead. And the state of California, in return, is strategizing to withhold its payments to the federal government because, as most people know, the state of California has one of the highest GDPs in the world. And a lot of the funds that they pay to the federal government supplements other states. It supplements other state activities, particularly red states. So, state of California is working to withhold its payments because of the ongoing ICE interruptions. California has a very strong relationship with Mexico, being that California used to be a part of Mexico. And also, it just has very strong ties to the country. And, of course, a lot of immigrants. So it would gravely impact their economy to have suddenly a lot of their workforce removed. So it is understandable that they would take the stance. It is understandable that they would take the stance that they need to do something in order to protect their economy. Okay, so in response to the state trying to withhold their federal government payments, the federal government, and specifically the Trump administration, is suing the state of California and withdrawing federal funds for the high speed. They had a high speed train that they were in the process of building that I guess was supposed to stretch across the state of California, but they are withdrawing those federal funds and they are suing the state. So that's what's happening in California. Next. Ooh, and I hate to do it to you, but it is being reported by news outlets today that Malcolm Jamal Warner has passed away from an apparent drowning while on family vacation. Malcolm Jamal Warner was most known for his role as Theo on The Cosby Show. He was married and had children, and I know I grew up watching him, and this is very sad news. Okay, let's talk about this. After pressure from his base, President Trump has ordered the DOJ to request that the courts release the grand jury trials regarding the Epstein files. It's not the same thing as the list, though. He's not apparently releasing the list. This thing is really, I mean, it's kind of weird how they have turned on him, but at the same time, it's not. It's one of those things where it is a monster of his own creation, and but they have managed to bully the bully. That's crazy. His base has managed to actually get him to do something he did not want to do. And all this time he has been saying that they would do anything he asked, and he could do anything and get away with it. But apparently he couldn't get away with that. That he couldn't get away with. But we'll have to wait and see how much of it is actually redacted, to see if whatever they put out will actually satisfy his base, because they turned on him to the point where he was cussing and calling anybody who felt that wanted that information. He was saying that they were idiots. He called his base idiots. He called the people who got him elected idiots because they wanted that information. That is saying something. I don't know what, but it's saying something.
I have never seen a president cuss so much. Like, he really is in the thick of it. Who does he cuss out? Oh, he was talking to a reporter. He didn't cuss out the reporter. He was pissed off about the whole Israel bombing, I believe it was Iran. What is happening? He did get so... If you didn't hear about that, I'm sure you probably heard about it. I, on the other hand, was late to that party, and he was very, it seemed as though earnest and honest about how he felt about that situation, that it was very frustrating for him, and he was, going full-blown cussing about it. He is a cussing president. He's going to go down in history as the most cussing president. I can only imagine, because if he's that free in the public, then that means behind closed doors, he's just vomiting it up. Just vomiting it up. And in the backdrop of all of the Trump things going that are happening, or some new tariffs that are supposed to be going into effect, some trade deals that are going into effect, the big beautiful bill that is supposed to go into effect, which impacts a lot of different organizations. Over 1,300 state employees, the Department of State, which are federal employees, fired or laid off as a part of the budget cuts. Let's see, there was some very fatal floods and flooding that has happened around the country and around the world, actually. There have been lots of floods, but more specifically within the state of Texas, Kerr County. There has been some flooding in North Carolina. I do believe Kentucky had some floods. Some wildfires in California. ICE is continuing to raid areas, and as a result, it's in California. A man died when he fell off a roof. During an ICE raid, there have been protests. Businesses, privately owned businesses, are basically taking back control over their premises and refusing to allow entry onto their premises. Like, they're showing videos of doctors' offices, schools, hospitals, private-owned businesses, people in their homes, that just refuse to allow people who are not identifying themselves but apparently are ICE from entering in these areas. A National Guard, however, has been dispatched to parts of California to continue with the ICE raids. In Florida, locally, there was an ICE raid in Tallahassee where people were picked up at a construction site, and that happened in the last month or so. And then Alcatraz was opened down in South Florida, where they are keeping ICE detainees. Oh goodness. What else? P. Diddy Combs was convicted of 2 out of 5 charges and is awaiting his sentencing. He can face up to, I believe, 20 years in prison for what was it? Taking people across state lines for prostitution. So that's what they were able to convict him of. They weren't able to convict him of trafficking. They weren't able to convict him of racketeering, RICO. They got him on transporting individuals across state lines for prostitution. I do believe that Trump was also officially nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. That's interesting. Now I want to Google, when is the last time a president was nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize? Theodore Roosevelt was he was awarded in 1906 for his role in mediating the Russo-Japanese War. Woodrow Wilson in 1990 was awarded the Peace Prize. 1919, Woodrow Wilson won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1919 for his effort to promote peace during post-World War I. Jimmy Carter won in 2002 for his humanitarian work. Barack Obama in 2009 won for extraordinary efforts to strengthen international diplomacy.
Okay, so on to movies.
And now, President Donald Trump. On Becoming a Guinea Fowl is an international film that was filmed in Zambia and spoken in Bemba. And it has 98% fresh on RottenTomatoes.com. So y'all go support that. Go support that movie. Go see it. Oh, you know what? I have heard about this movie. It was in Tallahassee at the theater for a little while. And we were supposed to go see it. But we did not. It's always nice to see international films get recognition in the U.S. market, but it's even greater to see a Zambian movie or a film based in Zambia and get international recognition. I think that's really great. You know, Zambia has a special place in my heart. Okay. Moving on from movies, y'all.
First of all, he has
a new Netflix movie out, Medea's
I'm not going to
Destination.
see any of them.
Well, real quick, before we
And it is
completely
the
move on
typical
from movies,
Tyler Perry film.
let's discuss Tyler Perry's lawsuit. The comedy version. Yeah. Everything that you love and everything that you hate about his movies. Everything. Like, all in one. If you love it, you love it. If you hate it, you hate it. If you love parts of it and you hate parts of it, then you're just going to continue to do that. Whatever it is you usually do when you watch one of his movies, you're going to continue to do just that. But you might be surprised at how much you enjoy it, or surprised by how much you're distracted by things in it. Whatever it is but if you typically enjoy his movies, you will enjoy it. And if you typically do not enjoy, but you like to criticize, then that is what you will typically do. Because that's how that is. I wouldn't know either way. I haven't watched it. But I already know that's that on that. I don't have to know anything else. But for the most part, they're fairly consistent, and it's okay. So, but if you are able to enjoy that, which most people are, which is why they watch them, then you will enjoy this one too. You know, go grab yourself some popcorn. I don't ever have to see that movie to know that if you normally enjoy his movies, you will enjoy this one. Like, it just, you know, it is what it is. And if you normally don't, then don't torture yourself. Like, don't go and watch it just because everybody else is watching it. If you know that you end up always disliking it, don't try a new thing, okay? Just, you know, just to sit up there and criticize it. Just move on. Move on and watch something else. I was going to talk about his little scandal, or alleged scandal, because he has a lawsuit. Okay, he's being accused by Derek Dixon for allegedly sexual harassment. And it is a civil suit. It is a civil suit. And Derek Dixon is an actor. And he worked on a series that Perry, of course, produced, saying that he was sending unwanted text messages to Dixon. And apparently this started when he was on the Oval. The Oval was a different drama that Mr. Perry had. I never watched it, so I never watched it. I heard that people enjoyed it, and but you know what? This isn't the first time that someone has said that this is going on with him. People have had allegations in the past. They just never sued him. I take allegations seriously. I do. It's just that, when will people learn? When will people that are in a position of authority learn to separate their business from their personal on all levels? When will they just learn? It's like, wow. It must be really difficult, though, I guess, for people to work with individuals, because most people find their love interest at work. I did not, so I wouldn't know anything about that. But a lot of people, statistically, meet their significant others while working or doing work hours. I don't know how that works. Not a lot of people out there actually doing their job. Too busy hooking up. So, but he's a billionaire, right? Tyler Perry? Let me double check that back. 55, yeah, $1.4 billion according to Forbes. I don't know how much of that is liquid, but $1.4 billion as of this year. Okay? And he is a bachelor. Crazy. And crazy, not that he is worth $1.4 billion. Crazy that a billionaire would not know to have those NDAs in place before he pursues romantic relationships with anybody. I'm just saying, you got too many doggone attorneys not to have those NDAs in place. Not to have allowed your attorneys to do the work that they get paid to do in order to protect you. But you just out here all willy-nilly texting individuals, flirting with them, and, just basically fishing, but didn't have anything in place to protect himself. Not to say that he's innocent. I don't know what he is. Okay? What I do know is that anybody worth $1.4 billion should have the paperwork, should have the attorney, should have the team that would, if you are really interested in somebody, in a relationship level, that you go ahead and you call your attorneys and say, hey, can you
Thank you for joining me for today's catch up of all the news that has been going on in the last few months.
So that
I didn't get to everything, but honey, that was enough for one sitting. So much going on in the world. Take it in doses. Try not to take it all at the same time, because it can get heavy, and some of it is fun. Some of it is fun and light. So make sure you remember to take in some of the fun things too, and take a moment to be joyous. Thank you for listening. Like, subscribe, and share. I truly appreciate it. And please leave a comment. Have a great day.